Welcome to Mango a Day, a guide for mindful and creative living for the busy bees and go-getters like you. My name is Nancy Pham. I'm a family nurse practitioner, and I decided to stop working in medicine at the end of December so that I could do something that was more in alignment with who I am, and decided to start a small business. My career wasn't really fulfilling me in the way that I was hoping for anymore, and I felt like I was sacrificing so much. So when there was an opportunity to do something I've always wanted to do, which was create and do art, I decided to go ahead and try. One of the first things I decided to do before I even quit was write a business plan. I'd actually taken a business class at Haas while I was in public health school, so I had an idea of how to do it. But if you don't know how, that's okay. I actually have a one-page business plan for you to get started. And of course, you can build it up as you kind of formulate your plan. For Mango a Day, I put a ton of thought into the mission statement and the value system. It was really important for me to be able to create a vision of having leaders like myself being able to live more mindfully, authentically, and with more integrity, because then we can affect our peers and our employees and everyone else, causing this downstream effect. The next step for me was to create a structure. I think like everything in life, it's always helpful to create structure so that you have a sense of safety as well as a sense of direction when you're trying to explore. When you're creating a small business, you have to be mindful that you're not just a creative thinker, but you have to be the organizational thinker as well. So what I did was I decided that there was going to be a boss version of me, whom I call Boss Nancy, and then there's an employee version of me, whom I call Employee Nancy. I think a lot of us are better at holding ourselves accountable to someone else. So that's how I came up with the idea of creating someone else that I would be accountable to. This person would be a great leader who does care about my well-being but wants to be firm and make sure I hit deadlines. Whereas Employee Nancy is going to probably be someone who has lots of great ideas but is going to have difficulties pursuing them all on her own because she's kind of loopy and just wants to do whatever she feels like emotionally feels like, not that she's lazy. At this point, Boss Nancy is really in charge. She's trying to figure out the balance of Employee Nancy creating weekly. Maybe it's once, twice, or 3 times a week without burning out. She's also keeping track of the finances. She's making sure that we are investing in the things that we need to invest in, including tools and software and monthly subscriptions. Additionally, she's also working on marketing and trying to find different streams of revenue. Employee Nancy, on the other hand, is really stressed out learning different softwares in Adobe, the Cricut cutting machine, as well as different audio technology, which she has not used before. But as you can tell, even though a business is better run with multiple people, you're learning so much, and that could be really fun and fulfilling as well. The next step for me was creating goals that were SMART. This means specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely. I did most of this process in January, starting from long-term goals to shorter-term goals to weekly goals and daily goals. The thing with structure is that if you're overly structured, it's actually going to be putting a lot of pressure on yourself. That is probably very unnecessary. But if it's maybe too loose, then you may not actually have enough push for you to be able to achieve the things that you want to do. What you're seeing now is my daily schedule as I imagined it while I was in California. The problem is that once I moved to Salt Lake City, it changed. I was very meticulous about my daily routine, assuming that my schedule was pretty much going to be the same, but since I've been here in Salt Lake City, it is not. It was kind of funny. I did not account for the 1-hour time difference, so I'm always up after everybody else. Additionally, I'm still currently with my brother's family in a rental space instead of the new place that he bought. There's reasons for that. I'll get into that some other point. And third of all, I don't know where anything is at. I don't know where the grocery stores are. I don't have a bank here. So I really have to like plan my regular life before I could even do some of this business stuff. Let's talk about money. We need to invest in our company. Whatever it is you want to do, sell products or sell your ideas, whatever it is, you need to have some kind of investment. It doesn't have to be huge, but it has to be something. At this point, I want you to realize that creativity is a very, very valuable skill. Harvard Business Review wrote an article about how creativity is the #1 search soft skill on LinkedIn. And this is because creativity is a higher order skill than linear thinking is. You need to value and invest in yourself because creativity is needed to innovate and help solve complex problems that cannot be done in the traditional way. When I decide about how I'm spending my money and what I'm investing in, they really are the things I need right now to make sure that my business is up and running and I'm able to get things produced. The other things that I really want, like fancy cameras and drones, those we can save for later. But let's think about also what kind of money you're expecting to create when you're starting a small business. At this point, I know I'm not going to make anything, but I'm hoping by the end of the year, it's going to be something where I'm able to support myself and continue doing what I'm doing. You know, I also have metrics in place already just to make sure that I'm generating something. Otherwise, it shows that I should be transitioning a little bit more or adapting a little bit more. And that's why, you know, these goals are going to be able to help you realize if you're doing the right steps that's working for you, or maybe you need to adjust a little bit more. My hope is that Mango a Day as a business, a small business, is going to feel just like me as a live person. And that means that the values that I hold myself to, I'm hoping that I can put it in the business as well. So when I talk about conduct, this isn't about sexual harassment. This is about how I want to live my life so that it is in alignment with who I am. I have created a few general guidelines, mostly because I'm always late, so I really want to be on time, but I've created a lot more about social media. Social media for me is a very hard balance because it's meant to be addictive, and I actually was very addicted to Instagram for a while, and I don't want that for people who are trying to live a mindful life. I actually want you to be able to get what you want and what you're going to learn from. So there are standards for myself in terms of how often I check my emails or websites, and I'm hoping to live more balanced that way than I was able to before, when I was just caught into the trap of perfectionism and was always comparing my life to other people. One really good tip is that if you have an addiction to coffee like me, I always have to meditate before I am allowed to drink any coffee. And it really changes the way I wake up and pursue life, because before I would just make my coffee, run out the door, and my life is so abrupt. It's so rushed. But when you meditate and give yourself 5 minutes or 10 minutes to ground yourself and then mindfully drink the coffee, life is just very different. We've done a lot of brainstorming today. Let's go ahead and go for a break. One of the things that made me really sad looking back on my healthcare career was that I rarely was able to enjoy my lunch. Most of the time I was finishing charting or rushing off to a meeting where I could literally say I was shoveling food in my face. It was good food. I'm pretty sure it would have tasted good, but I never was able to be just there enjoying it. So for me to enjoy my meals every single day makes me really, really happy. And for me not to have to sacrifice just eating and enjoying that is something very important to me. Additionally, in the 4.5 years that I was working as a nurse practitioner, I think I walked outside of the building less than 10 times. It might be maybe 5 times. We just really didn't have lunch to ourselves, and I wanted to change that. So now I'm creating a business and a structure in my life where I can go for a walk every single day. And that makes me really happy as well. I never used to be really good in cold weather, especially with rain or snow. I hated having to dig my car out of the snow at 5 a.m. to get to clinic, but now I'm starting to really appreciate it. That brisk feeling when you go outside, it's actually really nice. Starting a business, especially trying to start a mindful one, is very, very hard, and I have tons of anxiety and self-doubt. I'm a little nervous. I told myself I need to launch the podcast tomorrow morning. And I've never done anything musical or anything requiring lots of sound. Oh, I'm so nervous. But I'm just gonna walk it out and trust in myself, probably create an outline just to make sure I'm not missing any key points I want to convey, and then start editing. And then maybe later go to the gym. I need to buy a gym membership. I was so happy I went for that walk. My heart that day was racing so much. It felt like all this energy was going to explode out of my body. But being able to just walk and enjoy everything around me was just what I needed. And I was lucky too, because I saw this cute girl and her dog running around, and it just made my day. But self-doubt, it's gonna overwhelm you sometimes. The fear of failure is going to overwhelm you at other times. And honestly, I just let it happen. I'm not productive at all in those moments, and I call my friends and talk with them, and they just remind me, Nancy, can you go back to your old life? And I go, no. I need to make a new one. So that's what I'm encouraging you to do, is just try. I get so excited to wake up in the morning and know that I can create something new, and it's going to exist in the world in some form or another. This entails a lot of practice. Realistically, I have not been practicing drawing for over a decade, but once my hand is back on the page and my mind stops telling me how shoddy of an artist I am or how I'm not going to be as good as everyone else, once I just do it, I feel so at peace, and I just love it so much. At this point, I've been working on drawing a lot more often, just so that I could get my Etsy shop up and running. I have been so excited about getting packaging. I got all these eco types of packaging, and I've been decorating it, but I really need to focus on getting my art prints and stickers as well as bookmarks out. When I'm not working on my drawings, I'm definitely focusing a lot on improving my video editing, as well as recording better, more cohesive types of audio. I'm happy right now that I can see a lot of improvement with my previous video and my previous podcast to what I've been able to create now. And that in itself is just really, really fulfilling for me. What I'm hoping for is, even though I might not be inspired all the time to create, I have enough structure in place that I'll be disciplined enough to continue doing a little bit every day so that it can become part of the bigger picture. One thing I have to be very realistic about, and my brother likes to remind me all the time because he likes to be a jerk, is that the likelihood of failing is quite high for small businesses. The Small Business Administration reported in 2019 that about 20% of business startups fail within the first year, about half fail within the first 5 years, and by year 10, only about 33% survive. So that is a very stark reality, and it's something that I really am okay with. It's weird to say that because I've never wanted to fail at anything in life, but I actually am looking at this as an opportunity to learn and grow and develop my talents in lots of different ways. Because let's say I fail at this project, the skills I learned might be really useful to start something else or do something else. Or realistically, I could go back into my healthcare career and have a lot more structure, healthy structure, than I've ever had before. So I'm looking at this as an opportunity to test myself and see if I could do it. But if I don't make it, that's okay too, because I'm learning so much within the first 2 weeks of starting a business. So it's worth it to me. What's been really cool to think about at this moment is that I'm actually using a lot of the skills I've learned from my public health classes to do this right now. There was one class that was called Innovation and Design, which was based on the IDEO model. And it's all about trying new prototypes quickly, getting it out there, researching, and then seeing what happens. If it doesn't work, that's okay. Try something new. But I think that's why I love doing all these things and just putting things out there, because I just want to see what works and what doesn't work. And it gives me a lot of freedom to be able to explore lots of venues and be okay with it not working. Whereas I would say a lot of the healthcare models that we've seen so far, they decide we're going to do it this way and we're going to continue going, even if our quality of care is horrible, even if we're expanding and the employees hate their jobs because we've changed the mission statement. All these things. If you are ever interested, check out IDEO Innovation and Design. It's very, very fun. And it's basically what I'm doing to try to see how we can create a mindful business that can help change the world. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope this helped improve your life a little bit. If you're interested in my Etsy shop, it is coming out in February. I'd like to say everybody, Chúc mừng năm mới and Happy Lunar New Year for everyone who celebrates it. If you'd like to find me, check me out on my podcast as well as my blog. Bye!